Ho ho hola and welcome back. So today we have the new revamped Dragon's Delight Bright Delights event that I'm sure most of you have already started on and have started logging in for the resets. I have actually not touched this event yet because sometimes logging in later on can give you some easier leaderboards. But we will be taking a look at this, and in this event there are also some new dragons that some people have seen. For example, we've got some very watery themed dragons like this bad boy. We've got a definitely very fishy looking boy. We have another almost like a Luminion or Finion looking dragon. And then we've got this like Honeycomb dragon from the looks of it. And you'll notice that these dragons, like we've got the legendary and the others are all epic. That is not related to the Dragon's Delight, don't worry about that. But we do have some new dragons that will appear during this Dragon's Delight event, which means that these may be coming out in a future event. But anyway, this is Bright Delight, which will look very similar to previous Dragon's Delight events. However, this is the revamped Dragon's Delight, which means that we do have a frenzy bar and joker items and all of that stuff, except apparently this time it isn't quite as difficult. But of course with these events most people are aiming for the 4,100 milestone, which gives us the ceramic, which I don't need. And the main dragon that a lot of people were going to be interested in aside from that would of course be Gem Glow, because Gem Glow is a brand new dragon, never before released or seen, and he is now in game, but only as a leaderboard prize, which does mean that you have to reach level 1 to 3, and you also need to reach the final milestone to reveal your position on the leaderboard, because they've still hidden the leaderboard because they're a little bit scummy. But anyway, this does work like a normal Dragon's Delight, well, normal revamped Dragon's Delight, and we have the quests that we have to do for the castle events and the ancient events, same quests, so we all know how to do those, right? Very simple, you know, collecting food, 6-hour food works very well for these events. And then we also have collecting gold, super simple, collect all the gold, hatching dragon, and then feeding dragon, level 1 dragon, level it up, super easy peasy. You know, we've just been doing all of this for the castle event, so the actual collecting for the quest shouldn't be really much of an issue. But obviously some of the values will be changed from the castle event. And then of course there is the breeding, which is always a pain. Always. But luckily for us, we did manage to get our hands on digital. Lucky us. And let's go and breed something else. I don't really care how many points we get. And we can do the rest of them at the end. But anyway, let us jump right in, and immediately the first thing I'm going to see right now is the fact that we have a divine already, which is kind of crazy. But of course we've got commons, uncommons, divines, and everything in between. So the commons only take 1 item, essentially, and uncommons seem to also do that, but they only give a score of 1, whereas divines, as they do require more items, they will give more points. But you can see the frenzy bar right now, it seems to actually go down at a much slower pace, which is obviously really good, especially if we just consider how ridiculous the requirement was for the frenzy bar last time. It was pretty much impossible to actually get your frenzy bar up, so I'm glad that they changed that in the end. And here we have a joker item, and best time to use a joker item is on divines, legendaries, and ancients, the dragons that obviously ask for the most items. But overall, your main goal would be to try and stack up as much event currency as you possibly can and just spend it all on keeping your fury meter up. That's probably going to be the best course of action. Because, for example, here, we're kind of screwed because we've got our items, but we can't actually feed any of the dragons. So normally, best course of action would be to refresh, but you gotta wait an hour to refresh. So of course, you can also gem. This is like gonna be the only time we're gonna do this. I guess I will do it once more just so that we can try and get an item, or get at least these cleared a little bit, which we did. And that's the reason why gemming in this is kind of a pain. And once again we've got another joker item, but we can't feed our dragons. Pain and suffering. So Dragon's Delight, as always, can be a very painful event when you don't get the items you want. There's an ancient, and once again, we can't even get rid of our stupid book. There we go, once more, and that is it. No more gem spending for me. I'm just doing this to give you an example of how these things work, so that when you do open up your own game and try and do your own thing, you can give yourself the best chance. But you'll see the frenzy bar. I believe it goes down at the same rate, but of course when your frenzy bar does go off, you will be able to earn more points, of course. And the problem being, mainly, that if you don't have a lot of items to use, and plus if you don't have a lot of event currency, you're probably going to get a little bit screwed over. So that's the reason why I'd highly suggest you stack up some of your event currency and spend it all at once when you've got your Fury, so you might have to trash a little bit. Isn't always the best idea, but sometimes it may be useful to you. But that is my quick rundown or look at this event with the new items and the revamped version, but in the not completely awful, impossible pay-to-win version of it. Aside from that, it is basically good old Dragon's Delight, and by good old, I mean I hate it, but but it's Dragon's Delight nonetheless. Again, if you care enough to go for ceramic and try and get your hand on Mr. Gemglow, best of luck to you, and I hope that you get a nice leaderboard, because otherwise it's just going to suck that people are going to finally get to ceramic, unlock him, and then they're not going to get Gemglow anyway, because someone that was super pay to win beat them by a massive margin. And that's just sort of what Dragon's Delight is. Even though it seems like they have made those positive changes in terms of making the frenzy bar actually doable now. I don't think I like this event still. And plus, just the randomness of all the divines and uncommons and commons that keep appearing all the time, and just the complete randomness on the items still, I'm not a fan. As you could probably tell by the fact that I haven't logged in for like the first 7 hours of the event. But at the same time, it's got a new dragon in it. If you care, I hope that you get what you want. But since it's not been too long since the divine events happened, I'm honestly not too bothered about this event. Maybe other people feel the same way. It's sort of like, I was still enjoying Rest Week. So maybe I'll just do all of my resets, collect all of my points, and then spend it all on one day. That's probably what I'll end up doing. We'll see how well it goes. It might go horribly, because we'll have to trash a lot. Because the old formula with Dragon's Delight was to, you know, work your way through it and make sure you're not trashing at all. But with this frenzy bar, it does change things a little bit. And depending on how lucky you get during frenzy bar meters, it could completely negate any re-rolling and waiting and all of that instead. So, you know, I don't know. It's like they took out the thought that went into Dragon's Delight, and now it's just sort of bad overall, no matter what. Oh well, I'm gonna stop complaining, because if I have to talk about Dragon's Delight, I assure you I will continue to complain forever. But at least you got to take a look at this new event. Don't forget we've also got Bottomless Dungeon going on for anyone that cares. We will have new dragons to hatch, but be on the lookout for new dragons that are appearing in this Dragon's Delight event, because again, apparently some people are getting these new dragons pop up, and they look pretty cool. They look pretty snazzy. I'm a fan. I'm somewhat of a fan of these boys, these fishy boys. So, I hope you get everything that you want out of the event. Make sure you get those quests done. Yes, catching creatures, I can't actually see any because they're probably not going to load in until I restart my game. Thank you for that bug. Still being ongoing, Gameloft. But overall, same old Dragon's Delight, nothing really to add apart from what I already have. But be on the lookout for news about any more major events coming, I would say, within the next few weeks, because, you know, it's probably either going to be middle of next month or November when we get the next ancient event, probably. Don't take that as gospel, that's a maybe, probably, but we don't know yet. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep hatching and breeding new dragons that pop up, maybe getting the dungeon dragon if I'm lucky. And plus we got Mr. Hathor coming in just under a day, so there's that as well. But for now, best of luck. If you do need any other help, feel free to leave a comment or join the Discord. But until next time, I do wish you the very best.